Try this. Close your eyes and imagine if you had all the money in the world, what would you be doing right now? What would you do this week, this month, this year? One of my mentors, Joel Salatin, said, Tai, if you have to take a vacation from your job, you should never go back. If you had all the money in the world, would you still be doing what you're doing right now? If the answer is no, then you got to make a change. In this video, I'm going to show you how I transformed my life and went from no money, no freedom, no house, no car, to traveling the world, making money, and having fun. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, one of the interesting things is I started showing people how to do this. Showed my friend. I got a friend, Jeremy. We've been friends since I was 2 years old. And he's almost gotten better at it than me. About 2 months ago, he came to me and said, Tai, I want to go out, take you out to dinner in LA. So we went out to dinner, and he said, you know what? We started a company together. I think I'm going to go traveling. I said, okay. I said, when you coming back? He said, I don't know. I just want to have freedom. Next thing I know, I was getting WhatsApps. I actually went for New Year's. I went up to Norway. It was snowing and cold, and I get voice memos from Jeremy. And I'm listening to him. We own a business together, and there's tropical parrots in the background. I'm like, hey, man, where are you? He goes, I'm in Brazil. I'm floating down the Amazon River using my phone to make money right now and enjoying my life. And I was like, that's pretty cool. 2 weeks later, he said, hey, you should meet me down in South Africa. I heard South Africa is cool. I said, I'm pretty busy right now. Next thing I know, he just literally texted me a week ago. He's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to come back from this place, Tai. Cape Town, South Africa. I'm living there. I got a little Airbnb. He said, I go 1 hour this way, and it's a safari. And I go 1 hour this way, and I'm going to go cage diving with great white sharks. He said, if you don't hear from me tomorrow, somebody left the cage open. And luckily enough, I got a WhatsApp today that he's still alive, and he said, Tai, you can believe this. While I was off doing all this fun stuff, we made more money than when I was actually sitting in front of my laptop. The world is yours. It's all changed. I'm going to share with you in this video what transformed my life to one where I can travel the world, make money, and have fun, where I'm like a traveling CEO, where I have freedom, where I'm not tied to a 9-to-5 that I don't like. I read that 70% of people don't like their life. They don't like their job. They don't like their lifestyle. They're under financial stress. You know, that they feel trapped. If that's you, good news is I've been there before. And I'm going to give you the exact formula to get out of that. Transform your life. And you might not want to travel the world. You might just want to relax more. You might want to maybe have a little beach house or a little mountain cabin. I'm going to show you how to set up a travel rotation. I'm going to show you, even if you don't have any experience, how to build a part-time or full-time business with just this right here, a phone and an internet computer connection or a laptop. I've done it, and I've helped other people do it, and I want to help you. So please watch this video. I'm not going to keep it up long. I wanted to show this. I've only shown this to my close friends like Jeremy, and now I'm opening it up to a small test group. So if you procrastinate and you got other stuff to do and you can't come back here, don't be surprised if this video is gone and it says put your email in to get on the wait list to watch it next time. I want you to watch this now. This completely transformed my life. I don't care where you are. I don't care how old you are, what country you live in, how much money you have. I don't care how hard things are. It can get better. But you have to have the map. You have to have the formula. So, yeah, get excited. You got those eyes closed. When you get them back open, go. If you have a little faith, if you put in a little work, if you follow the right GPS, the right map, you can completely transform your life. I've done it, I've proven it, and I've shown it to other people who have done it even better than me. So I hope you're going to be the next success story. Right before Christmas, I went to Virginia. Flew there, visited my first mentor, Joel Salatin, was on a farm. Then I went down to another farm. We went to the Amish. I haven't seen them for quite a few years. Then I flew up, took a private jet up to New York City. Stayed there for about, 2 weeks. Then I shot down back to San Diego. My 98-year-old grandma was doing a little Christmas party. I didn't want to miss that. So I flew back from New York, was in San Diego, And the cool thing was, like, I went there and I just felt like, man, San Diego's so nice right now. And I just stayed there. Like, no stress. Because if you understand what I'm going to teach you in this video, this right here, this is an iPhone 7. You don't even need a 7. You can use a 6. Or a laptop, and an internet connection is all you need to live what I call the laptop lifestyle. You know, in some ways, someone said, Tai, I figured out what you are. You're a traveling CEO. And I thought about it, I was like, I like how that sounds. That's true. I never thought of that way. I'm a traveling CEO. Sometimes I stay, you know, my main home base is in LA. Sometimes I'll stay there for 2 or 3 months. I did that this summer, but then talked to a friend and they were like, we're going to be in London. It's really nice next week in London. There's all this cool stuff at the park. It's sunny out. And I was like, I want to go. So imagine not having the constraints that you have right now. When I was in San Diego with my grandma, I was like, I feel like staying here a little longer. And I just stayed. And I made more money than if I had gone back to my office in LA. Then I went back to LA for a few days, and then I took off and I went to London for New Year's. Took about 20 people from my office with me. If you do this right, not only can you travel, but you can bring your friends with you. You can make enough money that if they can't afford a ticket, you can pay for them. So we went to London, New Year's, then we shot up. I got a place up in Norway. Beautiful. We went to the ski city of Lillehammer where they had the 1994 Olympics. Went out where they ice skate on this lake, and I brought 20 people. I've never been to Norway, and people were like, wow, this is like the most amazing life. I want to show you how you could become a traveling CEO. Run your own business. You could do it part-time. You could do it full-time. So what I'm going to show you in this video is what I've learned over a decade, not only of traveling, but how to do it right, how to do it efficiently so it's not super expensive, how to set up different bases so you don't just go a place for a little bit of time, be a tourist, and never go back. But like the places you love, you want to go back over and over to. I'm going to show you the most important part is how to fund it, how to make enough money, and actually have a reason to travel. And if you do it right, each trip becomes a profit center. See, people think about travel as like, oh, how much money am I going to spend? A ticket here, this hotel, a room, you know, it's going to cost $1,000. It's not an expense if you make more money back than you put in. That's an investment. What if each trip around the world was an investment for you? You want to go to Paris? So the cost is not a cost. You put in $1,500 investment, and while you're in Paris, your business grows. You're a traveling CEO. Maybe you make a contact there, a business connection there. Maybe you just do business back with your home country or home city on the phone or on your iPhone. And you put in $1,500 and you come back with $3 or $4 grand in your bank account, more than when you left. That's what I want to show you how to do. Now, not everyone figures out how to do this. That's why most people can't travel. And it's not even more than the travel, it's freedom. This is the most important thing. Because there might come a time when you need to stay home and you just want to stay home for 6 months or a year. That's great. But it's nothing better than having life on your own terms. Now, before I understood what I'm going to share with you about being a traveling CEO, I kind of got the general picture. But there wasn't anyone teaching how to do it. Now, there's been some different books out there put out, and different people talk about it. But nothing's been updated for right now. You know, this is 2017. Like, a lot of the stuff that you hear is outdated. Doesn't work anymore, or now there's better technology and better techniques. So I remember being in San Diego. I lived in San Diego in about 2006. And I had an apartment right by the beach in La Jolla, and I was trying to figure out how I could have internet connection, really fast internet connection everywhere I went. And believe it or not, in 2006, it wasn't so simple. They didn't have phones like this. And I remember being frustrated because every time I would travel, I come back with less money in my bank account, even if it was local travel. And so what I did, and I want you to avoid this, I remember a time in my life where I got so busy, and I was working on a project, working on a new business as an entrepreneur, and I had some programmers out of India that I had outsourced. I had subcontracted some of the work. I needed them to build a website. And of course, India is basically on the opposite time. So to work with them, I would stay up all night until 7 or 8 in the morning. Right when the sun would come up, I would go to bed. And I was so tired, I didn't wake up. It was the winter time till the sun had gone down. So I basically lived for like 1 month one summer, actually it was winter, one winter in complete darkness, barely ever getting out in the sun. I remember my health went downhill, my stress went up, I gained weight, I didn't feel good, I wasn't able to work out, I lost contact with friends, my social life suffered. And so I've done this thing wrong, and if you do it wrong, you won't be a traveling CEO. You'll be a failed CEO. You'll be a broke CEO. I'd like to show you how to become the CEO of your own company. You don't have to be a CEO of a massive company. Nowadays in the modern world, it can be just you or 1 or 2 assistants that you hire, and then you subcontract the work out to people all around the world. Now if I want to do business, I'm going to compare that. That was back in like 2006. Then I started to learn the things I'm going to teach you right now. And I remember I wanted to have some people working for me from Romania. So I just took off and went to Romania. The whole trip was paid for by the savings I had, the connections I made, the money I made while I was in Romania. It was awesome. I got to go see Dracula's castle. It was cool. His name was Vlad the Impaler. And I was just in Romania as long as I want, and then I was like, I had enough. And I stopped in Turkey on the way. I got to see the Blue Mosque, all this amazing stuff. Almost got kidnapped. No, not actually, but be careful. A few countries you go to, not Romania. This might be defeating the purpose of this video. I'm not trying to scare you, but certain countries, be more careful. Turkey, don't go alone. So Romania was awesome though. Went to Romania and saw all this stuff. Flew back. Now I was like, you know what? I'm thinking of getting the water business. I looked on the map. What country has the most pure water? Norway. One of the most pure. Norway and New Zealand. I've been to both those countries. Took off on a plane, headed out to Norway. Went to Holmenkollen, the biggest ski festival. It's crazy. It's like thousands and thousands of these Viking people, and you're up there skiing up in this mountain, snow. There's one of the biggest jumps in the world. I'm in there, and it was like I was the only American in there. Like they're not. I like to go to places that are a little bit off the beaten path, drinking beer with these people. There's literally thousands of Vikings, the most beautiful women in the world. And then these dudes that look like Game of Thrones guys. And when Norwegians, when they drink, they elbow everybody. But nobody gets in a fight. I'm not used to it as an American. You're a big crowd, people elbowing their way through. And I remember going to bed that night and being like, this is adventure, man. You want to have a good life? Look back at your life and be like, man, I just went through the longest, most fun, and profitable adventure. You do that, you won't be like Thoreau said, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. What's called resignation is confirmed desperation. Most people will tell you that what I'm saying, it can't be done. Remember what Thoreau said. They just are confirming their desperation. They've resigned themselves to the life that they don't even like. Hey, you ask me, I'll do anything to avoid that situation. So, got through this kind of time back in 2006. I fast forwarded to this time when I started to figure it out. And I look back now at the time I didn't have it figured out versus the time I had it figured out. One, I'm gaining weight. I'm losing money. I'm in the dark, literally. I'm losing track of all my friends. You can't really date. It's like everything was crap. And then there I am, traveling the world, ski festivals, in London at parks. I've been to all over South America. I've been almost every continent. And I go, I'm going to show people how to do this. And that's what I'm doing now. I've been busy. I haven't had time to make a video like this. But so many people ask me, Tai, I see your lifestyle. I see you doing all this stuff. I'm shooting down. I'm in Palm Springs right now. I go here. I call it a travel rotation. I'm going to teach you how to do that in this video. But I'm on my travel rotation. I'm in Palm Springs, relaxing. I brought, what did we bring? 29 people here from my office. And we've just been enjoying ourselves, hanging out, getting some work done, having fun, laughing at Zach. Then I'm going to fly back tomorrow to LA. Then Sunday I'll head to the Super Bowl. Then I'll be back and I'm going to go to the Grammys. And I'm going to go to the Academy Awards. And I'm going to go to All-Star Weekend. Now, I haven't always been able to do this because some of this stuff's kind of expensive. And when you're first starting out, you might not necessarily get to do every one of these things. You got to build up to those. And you might not care. Like, you might not care about the Super Bowl or sports or the Grammys or the Academy Awards. And sometimes I don't either, and sometimes I'll skip them. But to have the freedom to choose, to do the stuff that everybody dreams about and you're actually doing them is a very exciting feeling. And it's one that's irreplaceable. It's actually more important than money. The only reason I talk about money in this is because money is like, you could have a Ferrari, but if you can't put gas in it, it's just a slow car. It's the same with your lifestyle. You could have big plans, big dreams. You could set it up. Oh, here's where I'm going to travel. If you don't have money, you don't have fuel. And you got to have that fuel. You know, it's like freedom. Money in this situation will equal your freedom. So how can you make money? Let's talk about this. So what I finally realized as I look back, and this is probably, I don't know, maybe around 2010. I was interested in this probably from like 2004 or 5, or really started thinking about this travel and make money, traveling CEO thing. Well, what I learned between 2005 and 2010, and even up to now, was that you gotta make it profitable. And the best way to make it profitable is to have a business, a certain type of business, because not all businesses do this. For example, if you open up a restaurant, so you have a restaurant in downtown of the city you live in. If you travel to Paris, Rome, London, Australia, every time you leave, the business is going to go downhill a little bit. If you're the business owner, you know, when you're there watching over it, things go better. When you're gone, you know, your employees maybe aren't paying as much attention and things go down. So I realized, one of the things that I realized was I need a business that can travel with me. I don't want one that's stuck. I've had those businesses before. I've started and sold businesses like that, nightclub businesses, financial services, financial planning company, wealth management company. I've done that stuff. And I realized, you know, I don't like that as much. I like this laptop lifestyle where I can be a traveling CEO. So principle number 1 is whenever you're thinking about what's going to make you money, will traveling affect it negatively or positively? Now, what I'm going to show you is not only, if you follow what I'm saying, not only will it not affect you negatively, but you'll actually make more money by traveling. That's the key. Because then, not only you have the freedom and the joy of traveling, but your bank account improves. That's the golden, that it right there is what almost no one ever figures out. Almost nobody. I've read articles and books and blogs about people talking about traveling, and it's more about how you can enjoy a vacation, which is great. But what if your whole life was a vacation? Joel Salatin used to tell me, Ty, if you got to take a vacation from your job, you should never come back. And I've taken those words to heart. He told me that when I was a 19-year-old teenager. Ty, if you have to take a vacation from what you're doing, you should never go back. Now, I don't ever have to take a vacation. I enjoy every single day. And some days are more stressful than others, and some days in the realities of life are not going to feel completely like a vacation. But when I look back over a week, and definitely a month, I'm like, I want to pinch myself. You know, you'll get to the point where you're like, I hope my luck doesn't run out. And there's some luck to it, and I'm grateful for that. And every success story is a good bit of luck. But I'm going to show you how to increase the odds you'll be lucky. So that was the number 1 principle. Wherever you go, your job has to be one that wherever you go, you become wealthier by going on that trip, not poorer. Or not even mediocre. It doesn't even hold the status quo of your income. You have to make more money by traveling. The number 2 principle is that realistically, if you don't know how to set up what I call a travel rotation, even if you have a laptop lifestyle business, traveling incorrectly will lose you money. Even if you think, well, I can just do business on my phone. Here's why. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, travel rotation, it's a term I created. Well, you can be sleeping in too many different beds, eating too much different food, stuck in airports on delays, with cultures and languages you don't understand, and each of those slowly pull you back and waste time to where half your day will not be productive. So I invented this term and this concept that I'll teach you, and some of you who get into this advanced version of this video, I'll show you how to be a traveling CEO where you strike a balance. It's possible to travel. I see these blogs about how to couch surf and how to just do Airbnb and da-da-da. Well, that's all great, and that works if you're an amateur. But I'm going to show you how to become a professional. Big difference between an amateur and a professional. A professional can do it for years. An amateur does it once or twice and burns out. So if your plan is just save enough money and sleep on a new couch every single day, and think you're going to be productive. You're not. You're going to burn out. It's going to be very inefficient. So number 2 is this travel rotation. It's literally a scientific, I've used what I call the scientific method, the 7 steps of the scientific method to perfect a rotation system. And I've spent millions of dollars testing and creating it. So you can try to learn it on your own, or I can share it with you. It's a lot easier than spending millions of dollars in waste. Boy, if I could go back in time, go back to 2006 and someone just do this video and make this advanced course for me, I would pay any amount of money to get the dream. What's the dream worth? Sometimes I say to people, I was like, what would you pay to live the life of your dreams? What's it worth? Is it worth $100? Worth $1,000? Is it worth $10,000? To me, it's like it's worth all my money, because as the proverb goes, what does it profit a person to inherit the world but lose their soul? Now that's a religious saying, but let's take that a little less literally. What does it profit you to have all the money in the world but hate your life? And I can't tell you, I live in Beverly Hills. One of my travel rotation, one of my headquarters is in Beverly Hills. You might have seen the house. Been there for almost a couple years, and my neighborhood's full of the wealthiest people in the world. And some of them are just miserable. All the money in the world, but they don't know how to use it effectively. So that's tip number 3. As you become a traveling CEO and put in practice what I'm going to show you, especially those of you in the advanced version of this, I want you to think of money just as a tool. I don't care what your mother and father taught you about money. I don't care if you heard that money's the root of all evil. I don't care whether you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, if you like Barry Sanders, Donald Trump, or Hillary Clinton. Doesn't matter. I want you to learn how to think of money as something that works for you, specifically around your lifestyle. I had a very wealthy guy come, and he was in my backyard, and I have a chef because I'm a horrible cook, but I want to eat healthy, right? And the chef came and was bringing us lunch, and this wealthy guy, I think he's a billionaire, he just looked at me and said, "Tai, man, you're spending all your money on like chefs and stuff. You know how much you could save?" And I looked at him and he was an older guy. I didn't want to be disrespectful, so I said it in a tone of voice that got my point across without being disrespectful. And I said, "Yeah, but I live a more interesting life than you, more enjoyable life. You'd rather have my life." And he looked at me and he chuckled and he was like, "Touche, you're right." Because I can show you how to make money. You can learn how to make money. And some people, the more money they make, the less enjoyable life becomes. The more they focus on hoarding and then it's like, but life is just the moments. At the end of the day, you're going to look back. Today, I didn't tell any of you guys, my aunt died. She died at 99 years old. It was expected. She almost 100. In July, she would have been 100. And I've spent a lot of time with her in the last year. I'm really the only family she had left that actually would take time, and I try to go about once a month. And the last time I talked to her on the phone just a couple of weeks ago, and I talked to her, and one thing I took away from just being around her is that some point in your life you're going to look back, and you're going to kind of do the math, and you're going to go on a scale. Did I like more of the hours, days, minutes, and years? Or was I stressed out more? Now, you're not going to get every day perfect. Life's like a war, and every day's a little battle. As long as you win most of the battles, you end up enjoying, you end up winning the war. And I think my aunt did, but a lot of people don't. And so, I thought I would, it's sad that she died. It was expected, and it made me think a lot today, literally, about don't listen to what people say. People tell you to go to college just because they didn't go to college, or just because they want absolute supposed security, even though it's been proven over and over, statistics-wise, that having a college degree, especially just a regular undergrad, is not a guarantee of anything. There's some statistics that says, you make more money, but you spend a lot more money. So when you look at the ROI, I'll tell you what's great ROI. And what every smart person I've ever met, every investor, every billionaire, you live this amazing lifestyle. You're traveling the world, meeting the most interesting people in the world, networking, connecting, building your inner circle of advisors, smart people. cutting deals with people around the world, bringing new ideas from one country to another. You know what's made many, many, many people wealthy? Nike. Book just came out called Shoe Dog. Phil Knight, he didn't get that idea in America. He went to Japan, found this awesome shoe company. Eventually that turned into Nike. He turned into one of the biggest business people and the biggest brands of all time. Red Bull, a European guy, Mateschitz, he was flying in a plane to Japan. Read an article about a Japanese company that was one of the most profitable companies selling this syrupy energy drink. He said, I wonder if that'd work in Europe. Went to Europe, became a billionaire. Richard Branson, everybody knows him, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Records. He was in the Bahamas enjoying his life. He bought an island. You talk about a person to have as a role model. Richard Branson. He got his idea for Virgin Air while he was in the Caribbean and a huge hurricane came and he couldn't get off the island, so he chartered an airplane. And then when he chartered that airplane, he figured out something. Well, there's other people who want to get off this island. I paid like whatever, 20 grand for this airplane. I don't know how much he paid. I'll sell 20 tickets for $1,000. People want to get off the island. An idea was born and Virgin Airline came. And now he owns his own airline. He's got 300 businesses under his name. But you know what he does? He has a place down in South Africa. He goes down there, safaris, enjoys, being in paradise, heads over to his island. He does what he wants. He's a free man. The true mark of wealth is not a bank account. It's who controls the hours of your day. Think about that. Who controls the hours of your day? You? It's okay to work. It's okay to work hard. It's even okay to work under somebody. But do you enjoy what you're doing? It's just so simple. This ain't taught in school. We're taught robotically to do what will pay the bills. But paying the bills doesn't create a good life. So, when I learned these 3 principles, I began to perfect them. There's many more principles. There's about 100 principles of becoming a traveling CEO so that you can make money, have fun, and travel wherever you want to go, whenever you want to, for how long. Take your family with you, go alone, take friends. As I begin to perfect this and create these kind of 100 principles, I realized, I started talking to people, and of course, as I started doing more social media over the last years, so many people, I can't tell you, literally, it's funny, if I open my DMs now, it's an insane number. This is all from, an hour or two. And you gotta wait for them to refresh. And here's, let me show you this one, sorry, right here. So you got 4 seconds, 11 seconds. This is all, I'm just scrolling here. This is all still within, you can see 1 hour. There, that's 2 hours. Now I'm showing you this, people think it's like, I'm showing off that I get a lot of DMs. I'm not. I don't have time to read them. It's not a bragging thing. You can't believe how many people go, Tai, can you explain how the heck you figured this out? We can't find a book on it. There's no college course on it. There's no one who can, we see it on your Instagram. We see it on your Snapchat. And we've seen it for years. Like, what the heck are you doing? Can you share with us? And at first I was like, number one, do I want to share this? Because it's kind of like a proprietary secret. Then I realized that was a stupid thought because I'm like, the world's big. It's not like if other people figure out my travel rotation that they're going to take up all the plane tickets or something like that. So I realized I was being an idiot there and there was no reason not to share. But then I thought, what am I going to share? Because my life now is a little bit different. Like, I started out with no money. You've probably seen my story, $47. I lived years in a mobile home. So how could I break this down? Because now, like I said, now I can take private jets and helicopters and stuff like that. I couldn't do that at the beginning. But I realized, wait a second, Tai. It's not that hard. You just swap out a few of the things that I do with some regular things like a regular plane. You don't need a private jet. And I can replicate this whole system. But then I thought, but how about making money for people? Well, if you've been watching the programs I've been creating over the years, I just created this social media marketing agency program. You might have seen the testimonials. It's insane. It's insane. In fact, my goal is to take 300 people from rags to riches. I've been flying them in, people who go into my online programs and have copies of checks and contracts. I have my lawyers verifying them. Just think of this one guy, Jaden, you might have seen. one of the first people I led in a recent program before this traveling CEO, and he never had a bank account before. He's 21 years old, college dropout. He sent me a picture of his Bank of America, $33,000 in it in 2 months. And now we talk, he's making $20,000 a month. Now, not everybody makes that. That's not what I'm promising. What I'm promising is these principles work. They're tried and true. They're tested. And this is the first program that I've done that includes lifestyle stuff. Because the social media marketing program, I'm just showing people how to make money. But people are like, Tai, like Jaden's like, I talked to him on FaceTime. You might have seen it. I live streamed it. And he's like, I said, what's your biggest problem now? He's like, I'm making money, but I don't know like what to do with it. Should I travel? Should I just stay at home and try to make more? Do I hire people assistant? So I realized what I'm showing you right now, this video, you're one of the first people to see this. This is the next evolution. It's lifestyle. The traveling CEO is more than just making money. This is making money and enjoying the money you make and having money left over to invest and save for the future while not being too miserly that you don't enjoy the fruits of your labor. So I'm going to put a button below. Now here's the thing. Like I said, there's about 100 principles that each take me, let's say, 10 to 30 minutes to explain. So if I try to put that in one video right now, you're talking, you would be here for several days watching straight. And I don't think that would anybody gonna watch a video that long. And so I decided I would create a program. I would create a small test group program, just like I did for the social media marketing agency. And then if it worked, I'd open up the test group, make it a little bigger. As people graduated through the program, continue, close it, open it, close it. So right now, this is me starting that. I'm recording this right now. Nobody's been let in. So you, depending on when you're watching this, may be one of the first people to get access to the test group. I'm going to put a button below. When you click that button, it's going to take you to the next page. It's a 256-bit SSL encrypted page. Now, when you get there, it's going to explain out what you're going to learn. It's going to explain the details. And it's also going to explain the costs. Now, some people say, Tai, why did you charge money for this? And I thought about that. I've given away, I just checked my YouTube statistics and my Facebook. I've given away just about 1 billion minutes of free informational videos. So I give stuff away free. But this is different. I don't want to give away 1 billion minutes of this. I am so excited about this 300 test group. In fact, I love, by the way, if you've never seen the movie 300, please watch it. One of my favorite movies is the true story of the Spartans holding off a huge army with just 300 people. And right now, like my company, my goal is to hire 300 people. I've got a fairly big size, small to medium sized employees company. And now I want to grow 300 amazing people. Okay? Well, that's the same thing I want to do with people who don't work for me. You don't work for me. I want to find 300 people that I can take not only from rags to riches, but more importantly, from a life they hated to the life of their dreams. That's the goal. So this test group, I'm going to let in. I'll probably have to let in more than 300 people because some people will go in the program and not do it. We all know that most people procrastinate. So that's the reason that I made the test group and the reason that I'm charging money. Now, people say, well, you could still make the test group without charging money. But it wouldn't be fair. Because people spent $1.2 trillion getting college degrees in the United States. That's just the debt. That's not how much they spent. It's more than that. It's many, many trillions. Not billions, by the way. A trillion is 1,000 billion. That's how much money people are spending on community colleges. I've spoken at the #1 university in the world of all time, Harvard. I just spoke there, 4 months ago. I spoke at the #2 business school in the world, London Business School. I spoke at USC, Loyola. I've done this. I know what they're learning. I respect colleges somewhat, and a part of me realizes a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people are wasting money. And I think the proof is in. A lot of people go $1.2 trillion in debt. A lot of people can't find jobs. And people gladly go in debt. One of my brothers went in debt $80,000 to get a Spanish degree. That's just the debt, in addition to what he paid. He walked out with $80,000. So I said, I'm going to charge a little money. It's only fair. I've spent millions and millions of dollars and over a decade of my life, just like an author can write a book and charge money, and nobody says that's unfair, I can charge money for this program. And the more important thing is it weeds out the people who aren't serious. Some people, in fact, most people who click that button, they're going to go, oh, I don't want to spend any money on myself. Most people don't know how to invest in themselves. The school system teaches nothing about investing. People think money out your pocket is an expense. But one thing I've learned living in Beverly Hills, because I wasn't born in Beverly, I was born in Long Beach, Compton. So Beverly Hills is a lot different. And one thing I learned about people in Beverly Hills, one of the reasons they're rich, they'll invest any amount of money as long as the return is going to be higher than the amount they put in. They don't see it as an expense. It's been very refreshing as I began to be around. You know that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Well, I didn't have a rich dad or a poor dad. So that one didn't apply to me. But I had rich friends and poor friends. That's been amazing to see the difference. Like my poor friends, I always tell this story of my friend. We're at the bookstore and I'm like, he's always broke. I said, buy this book by Charlie Munger. He realized the book was $100 and he said, I ain't spending money on that. And I said, how much are your Nike shoes? He said, $150. I said, that was an expense, your shoes, because they're worth less after you wear them. This book, I guarantee you will make you more than $100 back if you put it in practice. Charlie Munger made $1 billion with what he teaches in the book. So rich friends, poor friends. My rich friends now, if you tell them, hey man, let's put in $10,000 in this real estate deal, or what, $100,000, 5 of us. In fact, it's funny, right now I'm texting with one of my business partners, John Dewar. Let me see if I can pull it up. I didn't even plan to show this. Right here, I'll just show you this. I don't know if you can get in on this, but this is one of my friends. He'd be retired at age 30. I'd consider him in some ways my second mentor. He said, "Hey Ty, here's the deal. The land is $750,000. The whole cost is $15 million. I don't know. Can you zoom on that? It's funny that this came just today. He said, this is for Raleigh, North Carolina. He said, I'm going to make this offer on February 4th with or without you. He's asking me if I want to be part of the deal. Since we only need to put down $480,000. It's for 60 townhomes on a piece of land right outside Raleigh, North Carolina. And he said, Raleigh's very hot right now, and I'm annoyed that he's talking about me, we missed 2 deals by less than 100,000. We missed it by 8%. He said, the land is $750,000. The whole cost of me $15 million, meaning that each townhome is going to sell for about $250,000. I won't bore you with the details. He's talking about the builder. And I said, he said, I think the risk is very small, but a good thing to think on before taking on a multi-year project. But he goes, this is what's cool at the end. Sorry. So he said, for the next deal in February, he's talking to me, if you send $25,000 a month for 4 months, I'm going to give you 20% of the deal. So I have to put in $100,000, he's asking me. I said, if we can do bank financing, I'll have 50%. So I said $100,000 for 20%. And he said, look, this is the key part. Sorry, where is the key part? No, I said, do we have to worry about, risk? He said, well, maybe, but we think there's at least 10% profit in 4 months. So here's what's interesting. The amount of money we're putting in is irrelevant. He knew I'm smart. I just wanted to know what the ROI was. The ROI is all that matters. So this program, you can put money in if you choose to get in the test group. I'm going to teach you about 100 hours worth of stuff. Me and I've got some of my friends are going to teach stuff because I don't know everything. I got friends that do this and they're amazing. They've never taught. They've never been on camera, but I convinced them, to train, to teach. And so they're going to be in there. You're going to be about 100 hours worth of stuff. And it's going to show you 4 main things. So number 1, it's going to give you the overall battle plan, how this whole thing works, right? Number 2, it's going to show you all the travel secrets that I've learned and my close friends and allies have learned, okay, number 2. Number 3, it's going to teach you how to build a business, even if you have no experience, where basically you become the traveling CEO of a small business. I'm going to show you how to start a small business. I don't care if you're 18 years old or 80 years old. It's very doable. And then, whenever you travel, just with your phone or your laptop, I'm going to show you how to get businesses to pay you. They will hire you to do one thing, to fix the problems that's hard in their business. And here's the beautiful thing. This is the fourth thing. Or what am I on the third thing? I'm going to show you how to subcontract out all the hard work to other people to do for you. Did you know there's a labor force all around the world ready to work for you? So you can find a client, a business. Let's say it's a restaurant or it's a doctor's office. I'm going to show you about 4 things that they usually are struggling with. Their website, their marketing, their hiring. There's a few different things. Building an app for them. You're going to walk in their door. I'm going to give you scripts and show you how to do it. And you're going to say to them, hey, my name is, let's say your name's Bob or Susie. Hey, my name is Bob. I'm the head of a small executive service company, and I fix problems for businesses that they don't have time to fix. And you're going to lay out your services, and 90% of businesses have a need for the services you're going to lay out. And I'm going to show you how to be persuasive, and then they're going to hire you, and they're going to pay you $1,000 to $10,000 a month contracts. If you're starting out, let's just say $1,000 a month, right? Or $2,000. I'm going to show you how to charge. Then, whatever they hire you to do, you're going to turn around and subcontract it out, and someone's going to do most of the work. You'll still have to do some. It's not a scheme where you do no work. But you're going to basically manage the subcontractors in exchange, and you're going to split the money with subcontractors, and you're going to put money in your pocket. So this means when you're traveling, other people doing the work for you, you're putting the money in your pocket, you're paying them, everybody's happy. You make money. The subcontractors, you're providing income for subcontractors around the world, and the business owner gets their problem fixed. You know where I realized this is such a big thing? So I'm hiring a lot of people. My companies, some of my different companies, I got different ones, are growing fast. So we got this guy named Tim, and I was talking to one of my CEOs. I said, is Tim recruiting for us? She said, yeah, we've been paying him $6,000 a month on a retainer for years, for like a year. I said, really? I've been paying him $6,000? She's like, yeah, where do you think we get all these good employees? I bet you Tim puts in 3 hours a week for me. That's 12 hours a month. And I gladly pay him $6,000. And all he does is just connect some people. He goes out to conferences, parties. You could travel the world, go to a cool conference, go to a cool party, start networking with people. Be like, oh, you're a computer programmer, you need a job? How much money are you making now? I got a few clients that have hired me for my executive services. I solve problems for them. You looking for a better job? I can get you that job. And they're paying you to have fun and travel the world. Tim, I've been paying him $6,000. That's when the light bulb hit. When a while ago I realized, I was like, oh my gosh. Because business owners have a lot of money. For me, my business has more money than I have time. So I'm glad to pay someone else to solve my problems. Glad. I'll pay Tim. In fact, I told them, if we pay Tim $12,000, will he get me more employees faster? So the money's there. There's over 50 million businesses in the world, easily. No one knows the exact count. There's over 20 million just in the US. But now you travel to Europe, maybe you find a customer, or you find some subcontractors for your US customers. You live in Australia, you travel to Asia, you find some computer programmers that when you get back to Australia will do the computer programming for your executive service company clients. That's what I'm going to show you. This is the slickest thing, the coolest thing. I mean, all I could say, whenever I do videos like this, I'm like, if I just had a time machine, boy, go back, record this video, and show it to myself. You ever see that in The Office where Dwight Schrute, they send him faxes from the future, playing tricks on him? I'm like, I wish someone could fax me this video in 2005 and just be like, Tai, you can have your cake and eat it too. You can live the life of adventure. You ever seen that Dos Equis commercial? Most interesting man in the world. This dude's in helicopters in the Arctic. He's hunting. Photography in the safari. He's jumping Mount Kilimanjaro. You can go to India. Who wants to hike the Himalayas? Who wants to see an exotic place? India has the most subcontractors in the world. You can just go through India, meet all the subcontractors. Then, who wants to go to Australia? Go to Australia. Find some business there. Or go to California. Go to New York City. Go to Miami. Go to Canada. Go to Europe. Every business is most businesses are struggling in the world. Most. I've got one of the teachers you're going to learn from is my business partner who had his business, he still has it. He's basically retired from it. Makes almost $1 million a day. And I said, his name's Alex. I said, Alex, did you hire outside executive service companies to help you with problems. He's like, all day long, man. We didn't have enough employees to do every specialized service, so we'd hire special executive services companies that come in and they had subcontractors, and he's like, we'd gladly pay them and they didn't even do the work. They'd subcontract it out to other people. I can't believe more people aren't teaching this. It's a sad day that colleges don't teach us. Executive services. I'm going to show you how to start your own executive service company, how to build it very simply, very inexpensively. You don't need an office because the world's your office now. You don't got to pay rent. Instead of paying rent, use that money to buy an airplane ticket. All you need is this and internet. You got it. And the beauty of the internet is Mark Zuckerberg is almost done putting the internet in balloons everywhere in the world. You can be on an African safari and be running your business and see the money come in. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. I knew I was onto something when in about 2009 I was in Sweden with my friend Herman. You might have seen him. I call him Dr. Fresco. He's a PhD neuroscientist. And we were going from Stockholm, Sweden, down to the south of Sweden. It's called Malmo. We were on a train and they had internet. And I was working on a client in North Carolina, and I did use Skype. This is before like WhatsApp and stuff. Use Skype to call him, close the deal. I was on a train with Herman. I said, do you know that I'm making more money now that we're vacationing? Because I'm more relaxed, I'm more creative, and all I need is a phone and the internet. Now it's even better in 2017. The world is yours. I'll help you. I'll help some of you. Some of you want to, by the way, feel free to do this without any of my advice. You can go try to piece this together. Some of you are going to try to. Some people are cheap. Some people aren't they don't think like an investor. So on the next page, you'll see the price. Now, I've thought long and hard. What should I charge? Should I charge the same amount of money I've spent on it? No, because that'd be millions of dollars, and no one's going to pay. Most people don't have $1 million when you're starting out. So I'm not going to charge $1 million. Should I charge $100,000? Well, I just went to Harvard. Kids pay a lot more than $100,000 to go get an undergrad at Harvard. I could justify that. But again, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was born to a single mom. My dad in prison. If someone had a cool program that was $100,000, I wouldn't have been able to buy it. And I bought many programs. So I was like, I don't want to price out cool people. So should I charge $10,000? A lot of my friends charge $10,000 for their high-end programs and masterminds. Once again, I couldn't afford that. $1,000. Now, here's an interesting thing. This is where it gets interesting. I have a buddy, and I said, how much does your community college cost? He said, $1,000 a quarter. And I was like, that's what I'm going to charge. $997, a little bit under $1,000. Keep it right under. So when you click the link, it'll be $1,000. Now, some of you say, is it worth $1,000? I don't know. What would you pay to live the life of your dreams? Some people cheap. Some people cheap with their own lives. I highly recommend you invest most of your money in yourself. I always find it interesting. Everywhere I go, people spend lots of money investing in other things. Like the average American spends $1,000 a year on Starbucks coffee. Now, we all know that it's overpriced coffee, right? Like coffee costs 50 cents to make. Starbucks charges $4 for the brand. But it's not the brand. It's Howard Schultz. Howard Schultz is one of the richest men in the world. Does everybody know that every day all these people in love with Starbucks in this little green cup are just making him one of the wealthiest people in the world? And I have no problem with him becoming one of the wealthiest people in the world. I have a problem when those same people go, I'll invest in the Starbucks brand every day, $1,000 a year, but to invest in myself, no, that's too much. I'm not going to do it. Do you love him or do you love yourself more? Who do you owe it to? I like shoes, but I never invest more in Nike than I invest in myself. You know, if you see me post a shoe a day, trust me, I spend 10 times more on that on my education to this day every single month than I ever spend on shoes. I'll never let that ratio get out of whack. Look at your bank account. If you pay rent, you're making the landlord rich. If you pay your mortgage faithfully, you're making the banks rich. That's what interest is. And they're investors. When you buy food, that's great. Whole Foods is one of the richest companies in the world. When you use Uber, that's great. You ain't becoming rich off of it. How about something where you invest in your own future? So some people don't get that. It's too complicated for them. And I'm like, they're probably not a good fit for this program. If you get what I'm saying, if this resonates with you, even if it's only, if I show this to hundreds of thousands of people, well, I need 300 of you for this to resonate. Be part of this 300. I think it's going to be one of the most amazing years of your life. And here's the deal. I know for some of you, it's still a scary prospect. Maybe you've never bought a program offline. You're like, was this a scam? Is this? I want to give you 3 bonuses, make you feel better. The first one is the most important one. And my lawyers advised against me doing this, but I'm going to do this. The first bonus is, I'm going to give you this program. It's a 4-month program. You can do it a little faster or a little slower, but that's the general guideline. If at any time during the 4 months you feel like this won't work for you, as not helping you, I'll give you all your money back. That's the greatest bonus in the history of education. Don't you wish that you and I could have gone through our elementary, junior, and high school and at the end said, didn't learn much, and they'd give us all the taxpayer money back? Most of us, the taxpayer dollars was between $150,000 and $200,000. Man, I would have been better off they just gave me that $200 grand. They didn't teach me that much. Colleges, all those people with $1.2 trillion in college debt, be great if those colleges said, oh, you can't get a job after a year in what we trained you? Get your money back. Walmart gives you your money back if, a shirt doesn't fit. They give you your money back if a piece of electronics breaks or doesn't work when you open it out of the box. How come education doesn't work that way? I'm going to change the game. Money back guarantee. 100%. Not even prorated. Number 2 bonus. Because I realize I don't even close to have all the answers, I'm going to make a community, a private Facebook group. And I did this for the social media agency, and it was amazing. I'm going to do one for the Traveling CEO program. This program, you're going to get free access to a private Facebook group where everybody's sharing their badass ideas. You want to go to Rome, you post. People who have been to Rome be like, oh, this is a good hotel, this is a bad place, go visit this is, talk to this person, like insider contacts. All sharing. Now, hopefully you'll share a little bit too, but you're going to get a good end of the stick because you just share a little bit, and all those other people, hundreds of maybe thousands that I'll let in over time, will be in there. You get that collective wisdom. I'm very excited for this Facebook group that I just opened up. This is going to be cool because I'm going to learn a lot too. I don't have all the answers. It's called Collective Knowledge is Always Smarter Than One Person. So that's a bonus. I'm going to give you free access to that. I thought of charging extra, but I was like, I want to see you succeed. I'm going to put as maximum, put the refund so you feel good. You don't wake up tomorrow after you get in the program and have a heart attack knowing you're protected. The only one could lose is me. You could go through the whole 4 months and use all the stuff and it help you and just fake it and call my office and we'd still have to give you a refund. By the way, your refund is backed by Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and Discover. Billion-dollar companies are backing that. So you can feel safe knowing that that guarantee is backed by them. So the second bonus is the private Facebook group. The third bonus that I'm going to give you is it's a 4-month program. And generally, the way it's like, so 4 months, then it's over, and you move on. But I know that maybe that time frame doesn't work for you, or maybe you got to do it a little slower. And maybe you want to refer back to the material. So I'm going to give you 1 year access. 1 year, not 4 months access. So you could finish it in 2 or 3 months, 4 months, and then you could come back 4 months later and refer to this material. I'll keep adding more material so you're getting updated stuff for a complete year. The next bonus I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you access to a concierge group at my office. Okay, and these are people that understand the program. You have questions. I'm not always available. I wish I was. I get a lot of requests a day, and I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but I will promise you is you're stuck, you're having questions, you're going to have access to people who can help you, okay? In my office, people who talk to me almost every day. So I'm going to put that button below. You should see it. You click that button. You're going to see the 256-bit SSL encrypted, the most secure page you can get on the internet. No one sees your credit card number. It's between you and Visa and MasterCard, Amex, and the bank. Okay? Put your information in there as quickly as you can enter that. You're in. Automatically getting access in just a few minutes to all this life-changing material. Stuff that changed my life, that made my life literally where I felt like Warren Buffett, where I tap dance out of bed every day. And there's a few days you're down, but I'll tell you what, I compare it to my friends that went a different path, and I feel bad for them. And some of them, I'm decided I'm going to give access to the program. In fact, part of why I wanted to make this and really collect the information in an organized fashion, because I have it all in my head now and put it in an organized fashion, because I was like, I want to give it to some people that I know, my closest friends. I see them hating life and hating their job. I'm like, take this, become a traveling CEO. Best time in history to ever be alive. Don't listen to the news. This is the time to be alive right now. You can never do this. Even 20 years ago is impossible. Even 10 years. So for less than the price that the average person spends on Starbucks, making Howard Schultz one of the richest men in the world, you can take and invest that in yourself with 100% money back guarantee, with access to a group of people, with access to my office, with 1 year unlimited use of the program. And yeah, I have one request of everybody. One. This is mine. When you get your success stories, when this starts working for you, email me at tailopez.com or post in the private Facebook group. Post screenshots of the checks you get from businesses. Post pictures of the coolest places in the world. I'm starting to travel even more. I got on my travel list to go right now, and I want to know suggestions. So when you're traveling there, I'm planning to go to Brazil, Colombia, Panama, Miami more. I used to live in Miami. South Africa. One of my employees, Jeremy, he's there. He's living laptop traveling CEO lifestyle. He just swam. Jeremy swam with the great white shark yesterday. 2 days ago, he texted me, "Hey man, I'm going in a cage with great white sharks. If you don't hear from me, it didn't work out." But then he texted me today. He's like, "I'm good." And dude, he's in Cape Town, South Africa. I've never been there. I'm literally going, "Are you coming back?" And he's like, "I have no idea." It's the cool. He's like, it's like living in LA, but you can go to safaris. 1 hour that way. The other hour you're out swimming with great white sharks. Not that that's a great attraction to me. And he goes, it costs a third of the price of living in LA, but it's the same quality of food and people, and he's meeting people around the world. He's like, dude, trust me. So he's been begging me to come. So I got South Africa. I'm headed to India. Finally, I haven't been back in years. I have not been to China. You know, I've had an office in China since 2007. So I'm going to be headed, I think, to China finally. Hong Kong. Of course, Australia. I was supposed to go for New Year's, but I decided to go to London anyway. I got a place in Norway. Love it. London, I got a place on my travel rotation right in the middle. You know who my next door neighbor is going to be if I get this place? I'm working on it, so I hope I won't jinx it by saying this. My next door neighbor to the left is the Queen of England, the Buckingham Palace. You know that Buckingham, so it's my next neighbor. Now, I'm not part of Buckingham Palace, but the way that it is. By the way, the ultimate baller, there's only one baller in the world. It's the Queen of England. She has 800,000 square foot house. And she has her own post office inside because it's too big to go anywhere. 800,000. I thought that was amazing. But, man, life is about to get exciting for you. I'm telling you. Now, you might feel a little scared. You might feel a little uneasy. But the greatest piece of advice anyone could ever tell you is, if you ain't pushing yourself, you ain't living an amazing life. If you don't feel a little bit nervous every once in a while, then you're just, the massive men lead lives of quiet desperation. What's called resignation is confirmed desperation. Go down fighting in life. So as I begin to break this down, I realized that there's about 100 principles I want to share with you. Some of them I can share in 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Some of them will take a little longer. Some of them I'll be sharing with you inside the program in the Traveling CEO, and some I reached out to my closest friends and allies, top entrepreneurs, top world travelers, and they're going to contribute information. They're going to show you how they've built a Traveling CEO business. They're going to tell you their travel tips. They're going to tell you their tips to making money. So about 100 important principles, and we're going to lay them out step by step. So on day one, you're not going to get access to all 100 because then you get overwhelmed. But over 4 months, you'll get access to these 100 very important principles. You know, everything's not going to be perfect. There's going to be some stuff you got to figure out on your own. I don't know every place in the world. I don't know every trick in the book. You're going to have to invent some. I'll tell you this, you don't go in this program, it's going to take you 5 to 10 years longer to figure this out if you ever do. Because you're going to have to, I wasted a lot of money being inefficient with this travel stuff. Crazy amounts of money. This last trip that I just took 30 people with me around Europe, my staff, it was a $180,000 trip. I looked at the thing. That was just for them. And now, looking back at this trip, I was like, I could do it. Like, when I pieced it together as I've been building this program, I'm like, dude, I could have saved 80% of the money. So, again, you don't need to bring 29 people with you and spend $180,000, but, you know, what if you could get paid? So I can go to sleep thinking about this if you leave this without getting access. By the way, the test group closes up. And I've been surprising people because people thought I was tricking them with that. Like, oh, just trying to get people to buy. Oh, no. I can't tell you how many sad days it's been for people filling up my Snap. Do you mind opening that program back up? I'm like, I told you I'm going to close. And I closed it. Now, we sometimes open them back up as people graduate through the program. But if you come back here tomorrow and that button says wait list, you snooze, you lose. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just like, that's the reality of how this thing goes. I like the willing. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, time and energy and a little bit of money, what do you want me to do? Joel Salatin used to say, Tai, I don't mind carrying a man, but I don't want him to drag his feet. So I'll carry you and put you on my back in a metaphorical sense of what I've learned, but you got to come along for the ride. So, yeah, click the link. I think I've answered a couple common questions I get. Okay, number one is, how do I know it worked for me? And I said, if it don't work for you, I got a guarantee you're going to get all your money back, plus you got all that information for free that you got to keep in your brain. Number two, people say, what about my age? Well, I got two answers for that. If you're asking that because you're extra young, please pat yourself on the back and say this to yourself in the mirror. Tai's Mentor Island Nation said, the lucky people figure it out young. So if you feel you're too young, you should be jumping around for joy. Okay, so if you're 16, 18, and I know if you're 16, you know, you might have to modify this program because you might have school, but you can do this in the summer and you can sure as hell build a business. You want to see something cool? Here's a guy. It's pretty cool that my texts now are so full. Here's a guy, I'm going to cover his name right here. Well, let me just cover his number. I haven't even saved his number. I know that this is these two kids that I met in New York. If you saw my Snapchat, they came up to me at Barnes & Noble. I'll just read you the last text. Hey, Tai, I've made 13, let me cover this. I've made 13K in the past week. Here's the screenshot of his Shopify, $13,800. And I said to him, what's your profit margins? Right there. Can you see that? He said, cost me $5 to make, and I sell it for 20 bucks. So his profit margins, if you know math, are 25%. So he made 13 grand, and his expenses were about 3 grand. So he netted $10,000 this week. I'm 17 years old, because I know these guys. It's just two kids. They're in high school. Their biggest problem is their grades are suffering because they're making $10,000 a week net. So they're like, do we make 40 grand? And he said, and I'm 17 years old, and yesterday someone offered me $500,000 to buy my company. He's selling these little, if you have like ADD, there's these like little spinner things for students. I don't know if you've seen them. He like invented it. 500 grand offer. The world is yours. He's 17. So if you're young, be happy. Now, if you're older, I'm going to give you the good news. If you're older, you got a lot more common sense than 17-year-olds, because 17-year-olds haven't been around the world. So you got some disadvantages that you're older and you missed out some of the opportunity and some of the stuff, you know, sometimes older people are slow to learn. But the advantage is you got a lot more tools in your tool belt. So don't be afraid of that. Being older is great. You just build on your strengths. If you're young, you build on the strength, the resilience, the flexibility you have, you know, like the open-minded, how good you are at technology. If you're older, you build on your ability to have rapport with business owners a little bit easier than a 17-year-old, right? So it all evens out in the age thing. Now, another question, does it matter where I live? I know I have about 92 countries watching this. So you could be in India, you could be in Australia, you could be in Europe, you could be in South Africa and South America and Asia and Africa and North America. Well, here's the thing. Once again, if you have the internet in this, you're now able to connect globally. If you live in India, well, you have access to the subcontractors. So now you travel to find the people who will pay your executive service company. If you live in the United States, you have access to the more money, bigger businesses, and then you can subcontract, go travel to India to meet the subcontractors. You don't even have to travel to meet the subcontractors, by the way. I just throw that in if you like. So it evens out. So, yeah, I don't think there's much more for me to answer. Some of you are ready to change your lives, and some of you aren't. For those of you ready, click that link. Start posting those testimonials. That's all I'm asking. Tell me where I need to go next. Tell me the best hotels. Tell me the coolest people to meet, the best parties to go to, the best nightclubs, the best festivals. Like, that's what I want to know. And I'll be sharing my stuff there too. So, see you inside the program. Right when you get access inside, you're going to see the opening video, lays out the program, lays out the first lesson, and the lessons will release over time. So I don't want to give them all at once because you'll get overwhelmed. But over these 4 months, you're going to learn a lot, about 100 principles. Okay? So, see you inside. I hope you're the next traveling CEO. We'll be one together.